The children of Freedom, Kentucky taught me that the Bible looks very different when viewed through someone else's eyes.
Do you like it?
It's wonderful. I see Noah's Ark and the Good Samaritan.
I drew the prodigal son.
And very well. I can't think of a better birthday present.
Problem is, we can't finish it without the right colors. We don't have any paint because sometimes when Mrs. Seal orders things, they don't get here from town.
You know, where I'm from, we can't afford to buy paint. So do you know what we do?
What?
We make our own.
Really?
This tonic is really something. Someone ought to bottle it.
That's a good idea.
Well, I might as well get back to work, Doctor. Isn't that odd?
Do you realize, Grantland, that this is the longest conversation we've ever had?
I hate to admit this, but I'm enjoying it.
It's a pity. We can't be friends. Even though we disagree all the time, we do have two things in common. We're both dedicated to our work and immovable in our beliefs.
There's a third thing, Doctor. Our appreciation for a certain young woman. Come on now, Doctor. I know you're married. Deep down inside, you find Christy intriguing.
Of course I do. I find anyone devoted to the cove intriguing.
It isn't nice to lie to a man of the cloth, Doctor. No matter. I might as well tell you. I've already proposed marriage to her.
And how did she answer?
She's thinking about it.
Well then, she could still say no.
Daniel, I've been looking for thee.
I had to get away for a while.
I understand.
Miss Henderson, I don't believe you've met Miss Cecile Carver. She's our school teacher and is my bride-to-be. Cecile, this...
Alice Henderson, of course. I've heard so much about you from Reverend Joseph.
Well, I'm flattered, but I fear his high opinion of me may have changed of late.
He'll always be grateful to the woman who taught him to read. See you at supper?
I can't avoid him forever.
She's lovely.
Miss Henderson, despite what my father said last night, I hope you know how much he admires you.
I think we both come to realize neither of us is the person we once were. I was surprised to hear him resist defending the settlement. It's not at all like he used to be.
Well, he used to think that education was all important too, but he's moving away from that now that I want more. He says there's no place in the white world for a colored doctor.
Our father once preached there was room for each of us in God's world.
Well, I try to tell him that it's changing. I tell him every day. We have Negro regiments in the Army now, and colleges of our own, good colleges. Lincoln, Tuskegee, Meharry. It's been 50 years, Miss Henderson. But to my father, we're still slaves on the plantation.
That night, the tension was thick. The dinner is wonderful, Mrs. Scott. I wish I could learn to cook like this.
Anybody can learn anything given the opportunity for schooling.
I'll thank you to mind your tongue at my table.
Miss Huddleston, have I ever told thee of Reverend Scott's in my reading lessons when I arrived to teach? They were an exercise in what our friends in the code would call long-headedness.
I guess you know all about long-headedness, since you hell-bent on backing my son to go against my wishes. Cecile came to me. She was very distressed.
Reverend,
Listen, this settlement got along just fine without your guidance.
I felt so sorry for Miss Alice. I'm so powerless to change anything.
Excuse me, please. Miss Huddleston and I will leave in the morning.
This ain't easy, so I'll say it right out. He's dying.
What did you say?
It's been coming a long time. His tiredness, his swelling ankles and feet, his heart's failing. Nobody knows, not even him.
Oh, Esther, I'm sorry.
Then stay and heal your hurt with him. Or Joseph needs to make his peace.
Did you know that the clan killed Reverend Scott's first wife?
Oh, yes. It was shortly after he purchased this land. He'd worked and dreamt and saved for 20 years, slave and free man. And in one night of violent evil, it was gone. Geneva Scott was carrying their unborn baby when she was murdered.
And Dan is an only child.
I believe I understand the pain of what's happening between them, and that's what I wanted to discuss with you. I wonder what do they think I should do?
You want advice from me?
I respect their opinion, Christy, and I'm torn. It's not right to pry into people's lives.
David always says that we can never predict when God will intervene. Isn't it possible that you were sent here for a reason? Miss Alice, maybe you are the instrument of his will for Joseph and Dan.
Thank you.
Only when her daughter Margaret broke her heart had I seen Miss Alice in such pain.
Joseph, when you sent me away, I didn't understand. I thought they was punishing me. All I knew was the hurt I felt. I now know that you were right. My place was with my child. My silence was caused by shame. My shame. You sent me home to be a proper, loving parent, and I failed you. And I failed Margaret.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, that's done. I spent too much time hiding from the truth. I immersed myself in mission work, hiding in it. I even managed to set aside the painful memory of leaving here.
Well, you needn't fret yourself about coming back. You're not the only one who failed as a parent.
Excuse me. I hope I'm not intruding. I promised Kobe and Jess I'd meet them here.
It's kind of you to help make watercolors, Miss Huddleston. I wouldn't know where to begin.